그래서 오야. 오야. 다 남조고 나라. 장군아마 정화지 남조고 나라. 내로도 비셔라 미대나 내중 장주섬나 검제장. 시비자와 저벌 민입에 대지 땡지 도비 탈라배 세전에 오수와나 신전에 다 남조기 내가서 아니 남지 조나 봤음 손디자바 당보 내중 초급의 준재 내중 초주 내중 기위체 어ten나시 장주지 셈 계급의 준재 장주선 로정주 장주선마 셈 기위체 다 텐나시 전에 다와 초급의 준재디 모두 순거를 숨수체가 단다디 내로도 비셔라 미대나 내중 장주섬나 검체장 시비자와 저반 민입에 대치 땡대 도비 탈라패 시가라 아니 가르송 거래서나 내루도 바세 내루 셔와니 동반이 내루 타도 동반이 오다 지바를 취지인 세 취인 취니 내루 타도 안에 동반이 양다비 타 시게도 강가 지발을 내거래 그러와 원자 텐더위 내 동반이 도비 셔람 내루 타도 도비 셔람다 메데나 아니 코와랑 노와 집이 뭐중 쩌마마인 바지당 아니 체도자와 아니 섬제 현 동안라 드위 텐도 아니 산제유 컴바 톱데기 아니 섬지 쩌마마인 바 산이바지 여바지 이나양 대zam지 아니 다 가소래 나는 뭐야다가 저 산제 고마 톡마이 톱미고 말해야 되라 내루도 비셔라 미대나 내중 장주섬라 검체장 검체장 시비자와 저번 미니베 다 시바 저제데 조데 가르에서나 아니 돈이 서비스를 양해를 더 됐다.
So then in the three principal aspects of the path by Tsongkhapa, he says that if one doesn't have rely upon the view that understands things as they are, the way they are, then even if you have developed bodhicitta, even if you've developed perfect renunciation of samsara, if you've developed bodhicitta, there's no way to achieve liberation or perfect Buddhahood. And so what this is referring to here is that even if you have developed perfect revulsion towards renunciation of samsara, such that it arises spontaneously without any kind of effort, and likewise, even if you've developed, you've studied how to develop bodhicitta and trained in that, such that without it arises, it exists within you continuously. Without requiring any effort, it's authentic without requiring any kind of effort on your part. Those two alone are insufficient to enable one to achieve liberation or perfect awakening of Buddhahood, because you have to have the view which understands things as they are. And the final part of that verse says, therefore one should make effort towards understanding, gaining an understanding of dependent origination, where it says that first that you have to have resort to the correct view that understands things as they are. This term, things as they exist, this is a synonym, one of the many terms for emptiness, the sphere of phenomena, dharma dhatu, the limit of reality. All of these are very ultimate reality. All of these are synonyms for emptiness, and so this verse says that one has to make effort to understanding dependent origination.
Oh yeah. 요즘 자주 삼라 과자는 시비 자와 저바 미니베서 다 시바 자와 아니 저바 미니베 시바 무수 제제들라 가르에서나 아니 돈이 도비 셔로 고고와 인상 그러와 돈이 도비 간에서나 시비 자와 다 가사시와 나신 전에 당정 말이 봐 当时马英把这帮切巴啦，当时马英把给咸鱼使用马中巴啦，咸鱼使用穷比，当把你恐怕狂来空头骗呢，夹单的啦。他这下工作长久给什么的，以及情比身边过年，但是把许多帮过印章，他帮助我的，当你都别写了印吧，是吧？印章你有些嘛就把谁的当人给先有些嘛就呢，当你没多吧？当你嘛有些嘛就呢，真正的变帮门的吧，你有些有没吧呢？他帮我呢，你嘛印是，那么这一个说。原天见到你这话，得当他所帮我呢，他到有了马东话，引起起诉他的名声，对家当、协当当，我到提出康安帮我的，在我当地马日帮给县有没帮马多巴拉，他在他帮也站里面帮我们对吧？印章，他是是比在我这把民里边，他等着都被他那边过来。
So the point here is that without, even if one has perfected one's renunciation and has developed bodhicitta such that it's spontaneous and constant, those alone are insufficient to cut the root of existence. Here, the root of existence refers to this type of ignorance that we're speaking about. We've been speaking about the ignorance which grasps at things as being real. And the first two principal aspects of the path, renunciation of samsara and bodhicitta, they alone don't have the power to be able to cut that root of samsara, of existence, of samsara. The way this works is that the wisdom that understands emptiness is the direct counter agent, which is contrary to the misconception of the self, or the ignorance which grasps at things as being real. And the way this works, as mentioned previously, is that the ignorance that grasps at things as being real has as its object the self of a self, or a kind of status of reality that things don't actually possess. So that conceived object is really fictitious, and the wisdom that understands emptiness recognizes the non-existence of that that fictitious object, which is apprehended or grasped at by the ignorance which grasps at things as being real, or the wrong view of the self. Though that wrong view of the self, since it's the basis or root of existence, of samsaric existence, when the wisdom that understands reality arises when you've developed the view within one's mind, then it eliminates the wrong view that grasps at things as being real, and thus cuts that root of existence. So the conclusion of the verse then is that one should make effort at understanding dependent origination. One should strive for that.
Oh yeah, that tender ane toni tobe tawa tela papa. Tela toni tobe tawa tela papa tamjiang miziba. Ane toma toni tawa tela papa. Tela tene ane toni la mi bi sine tu. Ane sine ji ngane toni la mi bi handong jewa da sila sunde togo yare. Ane tender we sila sunde konbe ane toni ngosun tobe lo yung or chuko. 因在希腊son的节的开情不因章，老百有了因为习习性杨大团了出行结巴一，西南上东son的这位人，你对就来结巴清洁路，是我到底送过来的，是吧？老百有了因为习气气，当你点了配的干了，你当把你来先看说的，当把你来这就对南瓦切巴了，怕都结巴给，你清过当。 那么啦，说话给，因为这需要切情，现在于到康店了旁边，当把你们在那自己都那边， 치다 된데도 냐바 줘봐기 등이 제땀라 시내스가 말이 치다 배면도 된데도 냐바 줘줘 티긴도 신장기 대화 개발제지 선바지라 아니 시내스가 말이 어 된다왜 시내대 톱 시내 뒤안에 아니 사모동반이라 소소주비 시럽지 제대 제도 그 참비 아니 신장기 대화 너무 심바나 상동 도밤 시라순제 도바리 된다왜 시라순제 제국태용 콤발라 때네 타를 아니 돈이 무슨도 또 뒤장가나 아니 사탕보 통남토에 잔추세 발레나 되네 신디가나 되네다 돈이 꼼비 돈이 무슨도 또그 로티기 제 강랑기 아니 저 자와 반자 본주기 임보치에 어디 되는데 좀니 되네다 사주좀 봐 신도 아니 반자 당보 딘지 야 아나
So the way this works then is that first one has to establish the view. Establishing the view of emptiness, one does that through, as we've mentioned already, through hearing and study and so forth. But simply establishing the view, gaining a correct understanding of emptiness, is not adequate. One has to implement that within meditative practice. And in meditative practice, to cultivate and develop eventually a direct intuitive realization of emptiness, one has to engage in the cultivation of shamatha, the stabilization type of meditation, as well as vipassana or the insight meditation, which has each of which have emptiness as their object. So in the next verse, I think of the subsequent verse of the three principal aspects of the path, it says, please bless me to be able to pacify the distraction towards a false object. And and please bless me to be able to correctly understand the real object. So what this verse is discussing then is the development of shamatha, the stabilization meditation, which is the principal kind of character of that type of meditation is the pacification of distraction as well as sinking and dullness. Basically, the mind has to be brought into a state where it's neither wandering away from the object that one is attempting to fix it upon, nor is the mind sort of sinking into a state of dullness such that the object doesn't appear clearly and vividly. And that type of meditation here has as its object emptiness, so that it's developing a single-pointed focus without any sinking or distraction on emptiness. Once one accomplishes that with a special kind, and the byproduct of that is that you have a special kind of pliability or workability of your both your body and your mind, so that one's able to do this kind of concentration without any kind of interference. One's body and mind both operate completely easily to engage in this kind of mental stabilization. So that specific kind of mental stabilization called shamatha or pacification, tranquilization, that alone also is insufficient, because out of that one has to, once one has accomplished that, one has to engage in analytical investigation of the object, which in this case is emptiness, and that analytical investigation of the object emptiness is the process of developing insight. And so once, and so one brings the stabilization together with the mental and physical pliability or workability that one's accomplished to the insight meditation, development of insight meditation, that focused on emptiness, gradually, the two, stabilization and insight, have to be integrated such that they're cooperating with each other. And when that occurs, then focused on emptiness, eventually, through that insight process, one eventually gains a direct, intuitive realization of emptiness, not simply a conceptual understanding of it. That achievement of direct intuitive realization of emptiness is, if one's practicing the Mahayana path as a bodhisattva, then that's the achievement of the first bodhisattva stage. And then subsequently on the path, one increases the force of that insight into the real object, the true object, which is emptiness, and increasing the force of one's meditative or intuitive realization of emptiness, gradually, as the force of that increases, the force of the ignorance which grasps at things as being real is gradually eroded and dissipates, so that one progresses through the various stages of the bodhisattva path.
Oh, that's in the 인다 실라손데 또님무슨 또 실라손데 톱니 토와당 안에 사탕부 토와 사탕부 사니와 사숨바세데 가르샤기 수와레잖아 안 사소소기 모가기 다 당제 말이봐 사제바 마도 파도라 그이엠보 안에 또니 또비 또님무슨 또비 이시데라 된다면 셈기세라 된다비 셈기 담보인다 된다비 사탐보 인자 코라 사탐보 사니와스 두스고아리 인자 사소소기 된다면 셈기 대기 안사 소소기 방자 안에다 지바테다 그 뭐지 년보체 뭐니 무엇을 또 무엇을 안에 봉바체가디 된다 셈기지체 대기 방자 사소소 뭐가 그 방자 대단대 봉아 체발라 잡된데라 안에 사소소기 영종 세상아 다유 사소소의 영종 장가 연만바 요아래 대세모가제 영종세나 사디 견 세와의 체신 사소소의 연된 조와의 체박의 연된 다 탑지 차지 진조라 영종 대와의 인상 사소소의 영종 대당 잡된 디기 권에 아니 된다는 셈지 디기 사소소기 아니 뭐가 그 방자 파 방대 아니 사탐보 디젤이나 사탐보 이와 숨바 아니 사제바 토바나 아니 스비사와 덴지사베나 자 방거아래 와 오시스비사 덴지사와 자 방데 대내 타바 숨기 아니 시르기 시르고 숨도 두스병거아래 인자 된다디 가서래 스비사와 제바 So
then, once one's achieved this intuitive, direct realization of emptiness on the first bodhisattva stage or level, this is itself called the generation of the ultimate bodhicitta, production of ultimate bodhicitta. Here, ultimate bodhicitta is the term for realization, direct intuitive realization of emptiness, which is the counteragent to the ignorance which grasps at things as being real. So, as mentioned, throughout the course of the bodhisattva levels or stages, one develops that ultimate bodhicitta, generates that ultimate bodhicitta such that it gets more and more powerful, and it functions as the direct antidote to the ignorance which grasps at things as being real, such that the ignorance grasping at things as real earlier on was overwhelmingly powerful, but once one has entered into the bodhisattva path, its power gradually diminishes, And the force of the ultimate bodhicitta, as it increases in power, it eclipses or eliminates gradually the force of the ignorance grasping at things as real. And through the course of the first 7 bodhisattva stages, then one is eliminating the mental afflictions, and those principle among which is the ignorance grasping at things as being real. Those, once one completes the 7th bodhisattva stage, one has completely eradicated the ignorance grasping at things as being real, and thus one has truly cut off the root of existence of samsara. One is free from samsara there. And throughout the course of each of these bodhisattva stages, there are, of course, other practices which pertain to the method side of the path. And there's a lot of different types of methods that are employed, that bodhisattvas employ. They do different kinds of things on the different stages, which are designed to eliminate all of the different kinds of defects and faults, to purify negative karma and so forth, and then also to cultivate all of the virtues and good qualities gradually, and those equally increase. The method side of the path here, which is called like the complete training, is the support for the wisdom side, the ultimate bodhicitta, development of ultimate bodhicitta. And so one goes through the path in that way. When one finally arrives at the 8th, 9th, 10th stage, those are called the pure levels or pure stages of the bodhisattva path, because one has eliminated from the root all of the ignorance which grasps at things as being real. And then during those 3 final stages of the bodhisattva path, one is eliminating the obscurations which prevent the knowledge of everything, omniscience.
Oh yeah, that tenzi, kasare sasoso ngoga ke panja tela, ani nyindu da shiti mi chayu kala, nyindu bi seede da temba zibi tenzin tela, temba zibi tenzin she, da temba zibi tenzin de nyindu de sa keba ne pampawa yinzang te hanje tela tenzin ti ta shabagi. 파자당 아니 덴진당 덴진기 파자 태기 왕기 아니 왕시 주실라 아니 수수된주도 나미 니나 추와니 오데 시두를 샤거와레 덴진기 파자지 레비 왕기 아니 주실라라 수수된주도 나미 니나 추와데 시두문 주와체 아니 가서를 덴진 되기 샤비 말이 파자기 파자데 아니 시르기 사병 그 자체 어디 다 문주와데 마 덴진 마반 봐도 대범에도 봐 예자 대수모데 타바사순 거 본거 아래 시립기 시립들 니체 박차당 사 말이 파자기 사데 시르 사병 그 자체 말이 파자기 레비 왕기 주시 주라 암비 시와 남 주라 라이 수수 된주도 나위 니나 추위 차대 아니 시주 문주와 채 시주 문주 대 아니 타바송 거 방거래 와 시주네 타바송 기 방어
So then on the 3 higher stages of the final stages of the bodhisattva path, one has already gotten rid of completely the ignorance which is grasping at things as real, because that falls under the classification of the obscurations or obstacles that are mental afflictions. So that a bodhisattva, once they arrive on the 8th level of the bodhisattva path, they no longer have to eliminate that, because they've completely cut off, eradicated the ignorance which grasps at things as being real. So on the 8th, 9th, and 10th, the pure bodhisattva stages, the Bodhisattva is gradually eliminating the imprints of ignorance that grasps at things as being real, and those, I should say, is eliminating the obscurations that prevent omniscience. Those obscurations are of two types. There's a sort of a manifest form of them in which you have objects such as the physical forms and sounds and such. These sorts of objects appear as if they're real. That mere appearance, it's a kind of dual appearance of the thing, an object appearing as if it was real. That's the manifest form of the obscurations that prevent omniscience. And then the propensities that were for those sorts of appearances arising, that were the imprints, which are the imprints of the prior activity of the ignorance which grasps at things as being real. Those are the other part of the obscurations that prevent omniscience. And through the course of the three higher levels of the Bodhisattva path, the Bodhisattva eliminates those, both of those gradually through the course of it.
Oh yeah, that tendravi, ane denzing tela, dangzing denzing tela, ane today gule biwang, ripatana la tena temba chua teto nyando zimbi, ane zimba gunda jitang. That today gule bala mayumba thoma mebana ngaranzo la, ane rang jesu, ngam shushu ki jeki, ane denzing hanji niye binane. That gunda de thoma Tonlam Tobane, Tonlam Gi Nagaso, Ani Yamochena Pongoari. Sanji de Aneti Angel to Pongoari. In that and that de la Dancing Jigda, Dancing Jigda Sanji Lani said this Sigwari. Wana Sanji, Dancing Jigda Sanji Lani said Dancing Jigda Sanji Candide Sena Toma Mebana Nga. Ranshinji Chua, Narawan the Chua Zimbi, Jingam Zimbate, Toma Mebana, Ngam, Shushu Yangatela, Dancing Jigda Hanji Chichen. Tang Rangit Ranshinji Chuam, Demba Chua, Chuta Julebi Wangi, Ribatana Latene, and the touching to Zimbi Zimbatela, and Zimbakunda, or Zimbakunda de Asatabone Pong. Sanji de la Chunging Chayewa Chane, and Sanyawana, and Satubi Pachbongari.
So then, in terms of the ignorance which grasps at things as being real, the ignorance which you could say grasps at a self or grasps at things as being real, this ignorance, there are different types of it. One type is intellectually acquired through philosophical, fallacious or faulty philosophical reasoning. For this, so people basically, they take sort of their basic clinging to things as being real, which is natural, and being under the influence of that, then they develop philosophical systems to establish that things are real, philosophical views, positions that things are real. And that kind of, and then once they've done that, then they cling to that kind of view that things are real strongly. But that sort of intellectually acquired grasping at things as real is merely a sort of imaginary or mentally constructed form of it, which derives from philosophical, faulty philosophizing. That really only exists, that sort of imaginary or mentally fabricated idea that things are real only exists among people whose minds have been affected by philosophy. It doesn't exist among people who are not engaged in that kind of philosophical reasoning. So the other type of grasping at things as real is beginningless. It's natural, and it occurs sort of within us automatically, without requiring any kind of philosophical reasoning or critical investigation of things. Rather, it just, from beginninglessly, it arises within our minds automatically and without requiring any kind of effort or thought. So the first of those that was mentioned, the conceptually constructed or the imagined form of grasping at things as real, that is eliminated on the first bodhisattva stage, whereas the second type of grasping at things as real, the natural or innate form of grasping at things as real, is eliminated through the second and so forth stages of the bodhisattva path.
Oh yeah. 다더니 직다 세대 직다다 가사가 단신 세대 아니 고랑 개발이와를 봐 자자 단신이 그 개발에서 가사 시원하신 제리 직다라 가사가 단신 임배 수 단신 연구 와체 가사가 단신라 직다 임먹고 직다 세요 가려서나 소소소소기 랑주기 나다 나이와라 미카 가르는 나다 나이와 가르는 미네 아니 nga rawandu chubam 아니 라신이 chuba 오랑 천이 chuba 정겜 저기 로지라 아니 직다 시거래
Then so we started talking about previously the wrong view of the transitory collection, this technical term here, which is used to refer to this specific types of grasping at the self, misconception of the self. There's basically, you could say, with respect to this wrong view of the transitory collection, here, that is a type of grasping at a person as being real, grasping at a person or misapprehending a person as having a real self. La gonda yang kesunguna.
그래서 직다라 직다단 강사 단신 가가레스 아 직다라 강사가 단신 수행 거래 직다에는 강사 단신 연구체 그러와 강사가 단신라 직다 연구가 그 가래서나 신주진아 랑거 천이 주바 정견데 강사신 랑거 천이 주바 정바데 강사가 단신 인장 직다 말인데 랑주진아랑 아이라 미야 말아 어디래 와 다 직다 간데 주고 아래에서나 랑주진아다 아이와 간로라 미네 아니 나랑 천이 주바 랑거 천이 주바 정가지고 그래서
So then grasping at a self of persons, the misapprehension of a self of persons, is broader because if you see another person and you misapprehend them as having a real self, then that's a misapprehension of the self of persons. But here, the term, the wrong view of the transitory collection, this technical term, is referring only to the wrong view, the misapprehension of a self of persons as it pertains to oneself, not to other people or other beings. So the wrong view of the transitory collection, that takes as its observed object either I or mine, and those observed objects then exaggerating their existential status or superimposing upon them the idea that they exist autonomously or by means of some kind of intrinsic nature or by means of their intrinsic identity. then that is what is being referred to here as the wrong view of the type of ignorance and the type of misapprehension of a self of persons, which is being defined as the wrong view of the transitory collection.
Oh, 이다 지다당 나당 마이와 가루라 미바지고 나라 미바지고 그와 인자 아니 유비미 지디미벨라 강사요아래 와나요와 인자 강사요와 인자 요고그로와 네 인자 아니 풍범미바 인바데 땀템 태고 말에 주발라 풍범미바 인바 가칭 그 풍범을 미나 아니 취단되는 도구와 이랑 주발라 풍범미바 풍범지 직대미바 인바 가칭 아니 다 제비 가서 안데 가서 때는 다비다 풍벌에 때는 다비다 아이디 아니 지디미 봤어 말에 봐 그래서 네서
네마서
저 당고 상마티 당고 참대 당고 참대 당고 참다가 이봐
알레 주법 풍범맥바
주법 근데 당진 지지다 현재 라니 당진 지지다 현재 그 미바텔라 카레레스나 오만 주발라스 주발을 세트 오만 주발 풍보 미바 인바 가칭 풍보라 지다 현재 그 풍보를 미바요 아마야 인상 풍보 미바 인바 가칭 랑디 가서 대화라 풍보를 때는 따윈 다함 나디 아니 미바송라 미바송바레 그래서 풍부 초점양 풍부 초점데 탄예비 당 민배 풍부 초점 가사 말에 탄예비 당 말에 스타트라 가제다지당 여주다지당 아니 메주다지 이와와 가제다당 탄예비 풍부 초점양 탄예비 당 민바 송배 뒤집이 초바당 풍부 뒤집이 포바 아니 초바당 풍부가 초바당 아니 뒤응하지 뒤영아지 폼비 진지 잡아 강양 아니 직다 민지 강양 민지 워낙 가르래서나 나오 냠시 찌위 나오 냠바 잠시 찌위 미바 나삼티 와 나삼당 강사 잠시 미바 차라 미바데 나오 냠바 찌위 시 나삼당 텐더베 나삼데 강사 인상 아니 강사 점 아니 지dim이 바래 야
So then the text here continues after the portion that we covered yesterday by starting off by discussing the innate or natural wrong view of the perishable collection, which is a type of grasping at a self, a misapprehension of the self. In the introduction to the Middle Way, Chandrakirti says that he rejects the idea that the observed object of this natural or innate wrong view of the transitory collection is the aggregates. And in the commentary to that section of the text, he says that he explains that the observed object of this natural or innate wrong view of the transitory collection is the dependently designated self. Dependently designated self is the observed object here. So since it's the case, since he explains that it's not the case that the mere collection of the aggregates are the conventional self, conventionally existent self, then therefore it can't be the case that that the collection of the aggregates at a single time, or that a collection of the aggregates which conceived in terms of a sort of a temporal continuity as the collection, it can't be the observed object of this. Rather, it has to be the case that the observed object, which gives rise, is the observed object here is the
ngawnya ba jiwi me ba ngazamdang ani khasa zamshi me ba chagre.
So he says that the observed object here of the natural or innate wrong view of the perishable collection is then the mere I, or the mere person, which is the object that's observed when the thought arises, I am. When you simply think, I am, the observed object there is the mere I, the mere I or the mere person, and that's the observed object then for the wrong view that grasps the natural version of the wrong view, the perishable aggregates, perishable collection.
Oh yeah, that ngadi chenshi 풍부 가야와다 초반이 가야 미조고 세가라 ngadi chenshi la 풍부 야자 풍부 야자당 풍부 초바 가야 미조바 니양 루디 체질라나 마데바디 개와 셴도 셰신도 세가 다 가르사나 오라 아니 ngadi chenshi la 풍부 가자 가사도 개영게 그봐 아니 그시 가사도 돼요 ngadi chenshi 된게 이제 남시 가사가 생길던 게 다 되도 가사 아니 전시 많이 봐 나잠 아니 생 줘야 돼다 공부하다가 라리 치모라서 와라 아니 다 예와 현도 셰슨도 되지 비려와 데 뭐디 지도와 루디 체질라나 매바 세데 귀심미시바 나이 전시라 귀심미시바다 아니 나이 전시라 이제 남시 미시바다 풍부 가야와 풍부 초바 풍부가 간사도 간사도 미시바 다 된저 송고아래 제절하나 매봐 그시미 투모 많이 봐 어디서 다 단주와 투모 많이 배 체제지 요아와 된저 현리 개와 샤바 인 송고아래
나데 진치잖아
이 전시 남시 나이 전시 미시바 그시 전시 미시바 그시 나 말아와 가상 가고와 와 그시 나이 전시 미시바 이게 남시 나이 전시 미시바 단주와 나잠 마도 아니 나이 전시라 그시당 이게 티와라 이게 남시라서 미시바 어디 체질라나 매바들이 체질라나 대다가 체질라나 매바 단주 투모만 배 체질 제인에 저래 다들이 숨긴지
진치서디 디 가사 진치 골든 니오
전시 이기 남시 아생간데 랑이바 매제이 바 가상이 봐
그래
전시기 남시대 나이 전시 등간데 뭐랑 줘봐 봐 그래
그래
코자도 또가 봐라 코자 이기 남바셔 봐라 다그 장원수 도데 또가 봐 나가서 이당 내년 이기 남시 가사 그 전시 거래 라
직디 코든 야버시 진치서나
전시 등 나이 전시
나이
전시 나이 전시 지남시
나이 진이기시
전시
진치서나
전시는 나이 다 가서래 나이 컨디지레스나 아니 좋아
강조작비시
강도 조사 시대 나이 컨디지레 전시 배나 풍바 생각이 컨디지레스나 쓰지 또디 와데 풍비 전시라와
So then, with respect to the basis for the identification of this, the basis upon which this I, the identity, is ascribed, this can't, in this system, as it's expounded by Chandrakirti, Master Chandrakirti, it can't be a particular, one of the particular aggregates or the collection of the aggregates, and this is one of the unexcelled special quality or special property of this system, as it was as I, J. Rinpoche, have explained this extensively elsewhere. So here, in this system, then the base for the identity of the I is not the basal consciousness as it's accepted in as it's accepted in the Yogacara system. It's not the mental consciousness as it's explained in the Swatantrika system and a lot of the other Buddhist philosophical systems. It's not any single one of the aggregates. It's not the collection of the aggregates either at a single moment in time or over in terms of a continuity of time. Rather, it's this simple I itself.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, dia lu di chaje la na me ba di ge wa xian du xie sin do. Da den zin ten yi ge cha ba se de la. Kan sa ge dan zin dang, ji dan yi ge cha ba de la. Ji da hen ji ji mi ba la. Da to ma me ga na ngam shu ji ge. Ani ge ge mi ba de la ngan zin ji de ge ma je de la. Nga nya ba ge lo ngang ge ge guo shi guo guo re. 是吧？因常让来先比开心了，所谓俺啦，我年把个老俺给叫我去买把因常，你就各位，就先看啥让个参与住，开心让个参与住啊这边的，让个就先就先去看啥，开心让个参与住啊这边，怎么看见的？他就希望那啥看啥个当真看见的，记得嘛的。 지다 마인 바께서 해진기 나들라 아니 나오냐 바기 지금 해진 코랑을 지금 마도 나랑도라 해진 말하면 나오냐 바기로 지금 말아 오인산 지순 거래 이된다 와디 주시엔지 가사를 바대와다 나오냐 바기 너 메제 바 인자 주시엔지 가사 랑그 천이 주와 전바데 가사 그 단지 현지 인장 지다 말해
So then, with respect to this, the appearing object of this natural or innate wrong view of the perishable collection, it has to be. It's necessarily something that can give rise to the thought which thinks I am. Automatically, naturally, without just occurring sort of spontaneously or automatically, without requiring some additional thinking or something like that, and it can't be. In terms of when we observe other people or other beings, and we think they exist by means of their own intrinsic identity, we have to say that this is a natural or innate grasping at a self of persons. When we're naturally grasping at them as being established by other persons, as being established by means of their own intrinsic identity. But, however, for the person who's doing that misapprehending of the other person, we would not say that is the innate grasping at a self, grasping at the transitory collection as being real. Here, so the distinction is being made then that this innate or natural grasping at the transitory collection is something that arises when one thinks I am, that it takes I, the mere I as its appearing object, and then attributes intrinsic identity to that. It's not the case that when one's doing that with respect to other persons, that we call this the innate wrong view of the transitory collection. This distinction is being made.
Oh yeah. 기타란지 민노시 다 기타데라 아니 가이와지 말지 비기타란지 기타 가이와지 비기타란지 이시로 그러와 다기와야스게 가이와스나 가이 롱제자 아니 가이 롱제제들라 가이 롱제자스 치 기당 아니 나이 롱자자 주 아니 미소 나이 수 나이 미소 이 용거로 와 다들 네 나이 와 세대 나이 와 지삼을 송거래 그러와 기대 현재 지미반이 다기 왔으면 기대 현재 신앙 나이 왔으면 기대 현재 다기 왔으면 기대 현재다 나이 왔으면 기대 현재 지바래 된다 하고서 다기 왔으면 기대 현재지 가서 다기 왔으면 기대 현재지 미반이 나이 원냐비 로 현재지 미반 나이 와 니인지 와 마요 냐비 로 현재지 미방 마이와 세대 다게 롱 제자게 마이와 니인지 세대 니 세대 측대 제직 제제 미소 미방 바디 제거하리 미소 마이와 인장 미소데 마이와 준비 지대 미방 바디 제거하리 인장 마이와 가세 다게 준비 지대 현재지 미방에 마요 냐비 로 현재지 미방 마이와 니인지 rangi miso mipa misungo. Yeah.
So then there are two types of this, as mentioned, the two types of this innate grasping at the transitory collection. That which is takes I as its principal object, and then attributes to it existence by means of its own intrinsic identity or intrinsic existence. It falsely ascribes that to it. But then the other type of this takes mine, mine or that is my own, mine as its appearing object. With respect to the appearing object of this natural, innate, wrong view of the transitory collection, which grasps at mine. There's two terms here, mine or of my own. They mean the same exact thing. Here, this is it has to be the mine itself, the object of this innate thought or cognition, which thinks mine, has to be the mine itself. But it cannot be. It's incorrect to hold this object to be one's own, like one's own eyes and so forth. So here, mine is used to identify like my body, or let's say my property, my country, my people, and so forth, external things, as well as my eye, my body, my mind, and such. These internal things. But the object of this innate or natural wrong view of the transitory collection, which misapprehends mine, has the simple mine itself as its principal appearing object.
Oh yeah, that is my inji rang miso mipa misongo. That dila yage ane kasore yage. 당보 나시 달라 현주치 다기 디싱을 차지배 수지전의 라왕매바이 돌아니지 주간들라 뒤세가라 디가라 아니 된다 마이위 천수 마이위 천시 미소라 미네 다기와라 덴바 차바 제배 세지 오마라 살려와리 하고서 근데 대도와 당보 나시 달라 현주치 다기 디싱을 차지배스 탐봉 안정지 직다 대지 직다니 그 기름나 가르래서나 탐봉 안정지 직다 대지 대지송 아이와 좀 직다리 깨버려 와 탐봉 아시 달라 전주지 다기 디싱을 차지배스 다 제당 간데 그래서 안정지 직다 깨네 되니 대지라 미소라 미네스 미소라 미네 다기와라 덴바 차바 깨배 안지기 직다 미유래 셴 소월 안지기 직대지 미유래 셴 아점래 셴 아니 나이 미소라 미네 다기와라 덴바 차바 제베 세주아레 리기 칙되기 아니 마이와 집이 직다되기 미소라 미바도치 칙이团了그 칙을 통고 아래 칙이 줄라와 리든데스라고 말해 아 미소라 미나 아니 콜도 크미바라 미소 샤워와 와 아이고 대시대가 마디 간데 순고래 사나 만세지 미위에 셴바데 마유위 천시 미소라 미네 드닌 다게 원래 담바 차바 제베세 가라 미소 미시 손네 미소 미시 손네 미소 디다니 다기오 냠도 아니 마유와라 담바 제비 된지 제거 와레스 다그와 담바 제비 된지 제거 와레스 하고서 미소 담바츠마 마임바체 미소라 미네 담바츠마 마임바체 미소 대다 미시 손네 드니 미소 디다니 다기오 냠도 안에 다기와라 담바 차바제바 인자 미소 가이바츠 비치기다기 미라 미소 요아 마레스 지 미소 미비에 바땡고 마레스 라고서 미시 손 미소 디다 다기오 냠도 다기와라 담바 차바자 빼자리와 말 땡해요
So there's a discussion here about and elsewhere in J. Rinpoche's works, in J. Tsongkhapa's works, in the explanation of the Madhyamaka Avatar, introduction to the Middle Way, there's a passage which says that the eyes and so forth, a person's own eyes and other parts of the body and so forth, can be taken as sort of like the observed object of this how to say it, the wrong view of the transitory collection, which is grasping at the self as being real. However, this passage has to be interpreted such that the way this operates is that first one has the thought I, the thought I, and which is gives the thought I am. I'm sorry, just the concept or thought I, and based upon that, one makes the judgment that this I, I'm sorry, the word I in English means both I as and also then mik nika
미시 손네 미소 디다네 다기오 스라 캡틴 다기오
Right.
Right.
Injila mik sana I. Nga sana I.
Mik sana mi marada mi mar mi.
Dra chipare sa da.
Mare mik sana nga marwa.
Re mare.
Mi ngare.
Injila.
Ale. Ah, como.
Kale kawa.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No, so let's say the eye organ for the eye. So the way it works is that one first has the thought or the concept I, and then when one observes one's own or sees one's own eyeball, yeah, and in fact that's what it is. Then one thinks this is mine, my eyeball or my eye. In that case, the observed object there is actually not the eye organ or the eyeball. The observed object of the wrong view of the perishable collection, which is grasping at the self as being real. Rather, it is the thought the thought mind, or belonging to me, is the actual observed object here of this wrong view of this form of the natural or innate wrong view of the perishable collection.
是吧？哦呀，다明白대체。넘버 가르래서나 넘버니 미바 아니 나 가소래 나라 미바 인장 아니 나랑 그 천지 좋아 아이와 좀 따두스래 나를 좀 비치다 되기 나 쌈라 미네 아니 나랑 그 천지 좋았지 넘버 나랑 그 천지 좋았지 아이와 좀 비치다 되기 나랑 아이와 니가 라미네 아니 나랑 그 천지 좋았지 아이와 땅
So then here it says that, so that's the discussion of the observed objects of these two forms of the natural or innate wrong view of the transitory collection. Then with respect to the aspect of that wrong view, here it says that having observed that observed object, if one misapprehends or grasps at the mine, or in the case of the first one of the I, as if it was established by means of its own intrinsic identity, as if it existed or was established by means of its own intrinsic identity.
Oh yeah, that any 가소래 ngayi wade 가사 말에 ngayi 와 다다디 ngayi wade 가사 말에 ngayi wade 가사 말인장 안데 가서를 최단 가사 뉴스 집이 최레에서 다지당 가상 안조 얘기 남에 듣는 저와 남조시 최단 가사 이외 남이송 최시 가사 그 띵도 가사 아니 가서래 라시메 바데 가사 그 다음에 최시 가사래 현비 최지 띵도 아니 가서데 아니 라시메 바데 최 다음에 시아르와 다딜라 대체 저랑 가요아래와 최다 가사 뉴스 집이 최다 가사 뉴스 집이 최다 가사是你去干了，缺的가사 뉴스 집이 최스，缺的가사 뉴스 집이 최세的看的是呢，가사没把咱们缺了，缺的가사 뉴스 집이 최스个，啊，
가사 많이
把这个是吧？我以为的缺的가사 뉴스 집이 최이나，我以为让个参与主要作用，让就我以为了没了让个参与主要这边怎么的，최当的这个话的。
주기 다음에 생물에.
최 단지. 단지 어디 동시권에 제하러와. 그러와.
다음에 동시.
동시권에 제하러와 저거 왠자. 이장 많이 와디. 최다 가사 뉴스 집이 최양 많이. 많이 와디 가사대 많이 와디 최다 가사 뉴스 집이 가사야 많이. 그러와. 这当用在那边小队干了，看上没人被缺的了，俺的缺的看上你去说呀，你的就有啊，得没人被缺，是吧？看上没人被缺，是那俺有我的缺的看上你缺下过去了吧？
So a kind of categorization difficulty arises here with respect to the mind. What is mind? What is, let's say, what is the mind? Mind as a thing. It's generally when we're differentiating things, if you take the totality of phenomena, the totality of what exists, it can be subdivided into two parts, multiple ways. There are different ways of differentiating the totality of things into two different sorts. The primary way of doing it, as it's in this context, is dividing things into persons as one category, and phenomena, meaning other phenomena that are other than persons, in the other category, like all other phenomena. So the problem arises here, where do you, within that kind of category, bifurcation, division into two of everything into persons and phenomena, where do you place mind? The problem arises because, on the one hand, if it's not a person, mind as such is not a person. Yet, if you place it within the other portion of this dichotomy in other phenomena, then you would have to say that the wrong view, which grasps at the mind as being real or established by means of its own intrinsic identity, would be a type of misapprehension of the self of phenomena rather than a misapprehension of the self of persons. So to resolve this apparent discrepancy, one has to, one might say that mind is neither a person nor other phenomenon when one sets up this bifurcation of things into persons and other phenomena.
Oh yeah, that is it. Oh, I was the Cheda Kassan is to share my Kassan my ra. The Yena, only Kassan Marava.当然，缺的卡上因为缺于那，反正我有那个参与主要这边真把的缺当这个他，跟有一直他妈以前，人家缺级当真看的就过过来是呢，缺级当真很接近没把你，他上线就具备书本所当，大概他就告诉来书本所当、民纳所当，究竟嘛一边那点，是吧？卡萨当，安尼我有啊，让到就我有啊在先把去。我有让到就话，我第来先把给，安尼让先有就对为书本当、民纳当，究竟嘛就比安尼那就几点拉说啊，安尼缺一点这个没把钱，那么你他听到了民纳，安尼让个参与主要真把几把钱，是吧？
我等我有让到来先把，
我有啊，谁多啊？我有让到的来先把。没说是呢，我有来的，我有让到的嘛，绝对没有的就我有的来想法，那绝对没有的就我有的来想法，绝对没有的就我有就话的话，我的来想法，
你来想法
啊，的来想法给，看上嘛也不缺了，俺你缺的看上你就缺是。
So then, with respect to the observed object of the natural or innate grasping at a self of phenomena, it says it's in terms of the observed object here. It says the text says that this includes the aggregates, etc., the physical aggregates and so forth of one's own and others. Persons that belong to within the stream or continuum of existence of oneself and others. That here is referring, with the exception of this, the mind. The mind as such is not included within this. Otherwise, it would be a phenomenon within that category, that bifurcation of persons and phenomena. So things such as that, the aggregates of the physical aggregates of the body and so forth, and the other aggregates which are included within the continuum of existence of oneself and others. Then things like the visual organ and ears and so forth, those different sense organs and faculties, and then also the environment, the external world, one would say, which is not included within the continua or the streams of existence of sentient beings.
Oh yeah, that thing. Namanga Shaba said, Anita, Cheda Kasani, Cheta, and the Rangatani to a Zimbabwe, and the church dancing in Chet. Judele Timu de Maribango Rango Yaban Droba Cheba, Timu Sewade, and Dinzilla Kuchore, Timu Rashin Tuchi Kunzo de Siriganas, Timu Seade Maribana, Dinzing. Mariba o Ranging o Yaba, Mayimban Drotaba, Sayagana, Chida Nanging o Na, Rawanging o Yaba, Mayimbala, Rawanging o Yaba, Drotoba Cheba. Rashi Tongwalan Tibi Tani Jenny, Kunzopo, Sedela, Ani Casa O and Dribber Cheba, Gabata, Chibi Sayagana, Seven Nashi Jenny, Drotoba Cheba. Ranshin Tongwala, Driba Sena, Denzin Korangi Tekwana Tongwala, Driba Chebata. Shenji, any Garo says, Tekwana Tongwala, Gebata, Cheba Inzam. That deletament to the Ranshin Tongwala, Dribi Dani Jenny, Kunzopo, that the Kunzo de, any Tanya do Yabara Kunzo said, Marimba Chen. Timu Denzin La. Kunzob said, Timu Rashin Ziji, Kunzob de Seg Kunzoptera.
Kunzob did tiny to give a
There's a man chat. Timu Rashin Tibji Kunzob said, Denzilla Koguare.
in the Kura.
Or the Timu de Maribango Rangung or Yeba, Chida Nangung or Arawangung or Yeba Mayimbala, Awangung or Dodoba Chebas. Ranshin Tongwala Chenam Rashin Tekonani, Tongwala, Dribidani Jenny. Kunzopo. Wow.
So then, as far as the, as mentioned above, with respect to the wrong view of the perishable collection that grasps at the self or the I in an inappropriate way. The aspect of the wrong view of the perishable collection that grasps at mine misapprehends mine, has the same aspect as the previous form of this natural wrong view. That is, that it grasps mine as if it was established by means of its own intrinsic identity. Then the next, it turns to the definition of confusion. Here, there's a citation from the commentary on the introduction, Chandrakirti's own commentary on the introduction to the Middle Way, where it says that confusion is ignorance. Ignorance, and then it's defined and explained as follows. It is that which superimposes a non-existent intrinsic nature upon things, or it's that which superimposes upon things a intrinsic nature or an intrinsic identity or intrinsic existence, which is in fact non-existent upon things. So it takes this form of this confusion takes inner or outer things, whichever they are, and superimposes this kind of non-existent intrinsic nature or intrinsic identity upon things. And then the passage further says it has as its nature obscuring or obstructing seeing nature. Here, the term nature is used in the sense of a existing nature, which is referring to reality or emptiness. So this confusion has as its basic character an obscuring or obstructing one's vision of nature, that is reality, and therefore it is called, the translation term here is extremely difficult to arrive at. I'm using the term phenomenal to translate the term, which in Tibetan is called kunzop, and in Sanskrit, samvrti. This term, you have to translate it contextually. So here, sort of the connotation that actually is entailed is this kind of confusion is an obscurer. It functions as an obscurer that prevents one from seeing nature, reality as it is. This form of it doesn't, or the object of this form or of the phenomenal sort of awareness is the object of it is non-existent, even conventionally.
Oh yeah, the Rashing Tong la Dibi Dani Jen Kunzo Bo said Kunzo Demba said Kunzo Demba shake Tashet Shingore. Kunzo Demba the Tundan Demba said Nisidwa. Kunzo Demba Shewani, Lo Kunzo Wade, Kunzo de Lo Kunzo Watimu Denziche. Lo Kunzo Watimu Denziche, Lo Kunzo Watimu Denzinging or Demba Yinji, Tunla Zumba. Yimbana, Kunzo Demba Sare. That's in an anguish. Kunzo Vicheta. Denzing or Demba Sade Caressa, Denzing Korangi, then to the Shamba Yinzang, Denzing or Demba Yinji. Tunla Zumba de Caressana, Denziki Denu Shen Nane Mituba. Nane Mituba. Denu do Na Yang, Demba Matuba in the Nane Mituba in Zumba in Bayinzang. Alukunzo Dembas. There's one. Kunzo Demba, she be attended. Lo Kunzo, what the mood dancing or dangy, turn like Zumba Yimba. Lo Kunzo, what the mood dancing with Demba Cycle, Lot the mood dancing, Chidan go over that attend to the Shamba Yinzang, Lo Kunzo, Demba race. So, turn like Zumba Yindi, then do Na Yang, Demba Matuba Yinzang, Nana Mitumba Yinzang, and it's Zumba race.
So here, where it says the term that's I'm translating as phenomenal, it's I think in the English translation obscure. Is that right? Obscure. Here, this sort of is a cognition. This ignorance, or I'm sorry, this confusion is a type of ignorance which grasps at things as being real when they don't exist in the way that they appear to this confusion or this ignorance. Therefore, the term, when we say, use the term phenomenal reality, or there's a subdivision of things into ultimate reality and phenomenal reality. In the case of phenomenal reality here, the phenomenal portion of that compound or term, phenomenal reality, is actually a confused mind, confused cognition, a type of ignorance which grasps at things as being real. Here, the observed object of that confusion is things appearing to be established as real, existing by means of their own intrinsic nature or by means of their own intrinsic identity. But in reality, in fact, it's that kind of mind or cognition is false, is erroneous. So it's called confusion or ignorance. So when we say within the term phenomenal reality that it's a type of reality, you have to recognize that things are real within that form of reality, only sort of within the perspective of this confusion which projects onto things a degree of intrinsic existence or intrinsic identity which they in fact do not actually possess.
Oh yeah. 대단한 시베야나 그 용수 뒤위 니몬전지 말을 안게 군조지 대바 남바 샤고 사쇼아 다 디나라 남바 샤고 세도 문도데 대단한 스타 주저 거라나 준전 대단한 시베야나 그 용수 뒤와 세가나 다된데 야나 중이 그 난기 시바 코어 코조기 아니 된데 야나 중이 여러와 시베야나 그 용수 뒤와 디기 야나 중이 그 담보 아니 근데 안다 주니 그 통면 말을 봐. 시베 안라 그 용수 두와 녀몬전지 말을 봐. 녀몬전지 말을 봐 왕기. 제송배 유라 담바 점바 말을 바당. 유 담바 점바 유라 담바 점바 말을 바당. 대니 녀몬전지 말을 봐 셰베. 유 담바 점바 대니 말을 바당. 대니 녀몬전지 말을 봐 셰베. 된증 말을 봐 셰베. 말을 봐 셰베 최지단테나 니르당 시준 이수조비 추니 여발레 다들이 되는 아마 따로 써야지 내순구하래 인생 말을 봐셔봐 그러와 예수배 유라 덴바 덴바라 말을 받아 대민이 뭔지 말을 봐셔배 탄주로다체 그러와 다 최지단테나 니몬도 셔봐 니몬도 니몬당 시주도 조비 추니 여발레 서라 탄주에 인생 인도치체 란주박이 인생 시두치체 와 어디서 시두치 아니 시두치 손이에요 뜻은 거라
So, and then following that quotation from the auto commentary on the introduction to the Middle Way, Chandrakirti says, thus, there's a partial quotation here. It says, by the force of the ignorance, which is a mental affliction, which is included within the factors of existence. This phrase refers to is identifying confusion here as the specific kind of ignorance which grasps objects as being real. That kind of ignorance is explained, or the Master Chandrakirti asserts that itself is the ignorance which is a mental affliction, and therefore from this we know that there are two different ways of establishing the obscurations which prevent omniscience, prevent knowledge of all phenomena. The two different ways of defining what the obscurations that prevent omniscience are. Here in this system of Chandrakirti, the grasping at a self of phenomena, which is this grasping, this ignorance which misapprehends objects as being real, takes this as a form of the obscurations that are mental afflictions. That is, the ignorance which grasps things as real. This confusion which is being discussed here is categorized among the obscurations that are mental afflictions, rather than being categorized as a obscuration that prevents omniscience, as is the case with the Swatantrika master Bhava Viveka and so forth.
탄주배 된진 년도 셔바 연장 란주배 된진 코이 자와 두고 말이 코이 자와라 가사 그 당신 가사 한자 두배 자유도 두배 봐 그러나 좀 받이대 탄주배 안에 가서리 된진 코이 자와라 된진 대와 연장 코와래 녀모 바탄 된진 녀모 대와 연장 아니 코와라 tro와라 된증 방고래 된증 방와나 안에 담 된증이 셔요 매방고선도 돈용고선 따와지 고고고와래 인장 아니 가서래 티바숨지 라좀발라 님은 바에 차와 인장 대전 방고 그래 대전 방고와 인장 대전의 현유 방고 숨도 또 그래 돈용 모습도 또 그래 대도고와 인장 파발라 돈용 모습도 또 차와대 단주비 투모만 비 자주 직투 내고 그래
파발라
돈용 모습도 또 차와
So from this this explanation here, this statement, we can derive the other implications that are within the Master Chandrakirti's position. Within the Swatantrika Madhyamika school, it's held that grasp the ignorance which misapprehends things as being real is categorized as an obscuration which prevents the achievement of omniscience. Whereas the type of ignorance which is categorized as the ignorance which is a mental affliction is categorized as an obscuration which is a mental affliction. That they identify that as being the root of existence of samsara. So, and the way they define that is misapprehending a person as having a self-sufficient self, which is a substance. Therefore, in that system, one can achieve nirvana, one can achieve liberation from samsara simply by understanding the non-existence of the self of persons. And one doesn't need to realize the non-existence of a self of phenomena in order to achieve Buddhahood. So, however, in the Master Chandrakirti's way of presenting this, the ignorance or confusion or ignorance which misapprehends objects as being real is categorized is identified as a mental affliction, and it's the mental affliction which is the first of the 12 factors of dependent origination, and therefore, in order to achieve liberation, one must achieve the realization of emptiness, which that realization of emptiness is itself really a recognition of the non-existence of the conceived object of the ignorance which grasps at things as being real. That direct realization of emptiness, which understands the absence or non-existence of the conceived object of the misapprehension of things as being real, must necessarily be produced by anyone who is going to achieve freedom from samsara. So, according to Master Chandrakirti's system, everyone who's following the path, whether one's following the Shravaka, the Pratyeka Buddha, or the Bodhisattva path, necessarily has to realize emptiness.
당진이지 기름라 취지 당진이 가사 그 당진 깨봐 이양 시천에 대지발라 지조고 있지 당진이 기름 어디 제가나 취지 당진이 가사 그 당진 깨봐체 단주를 다가 채채 인장 단 취지 당진 그 시천에 가사 그 당진 깨봐 인장 내랑 좀 봐요 아니 그 코비 시자 타도 봐 취지 당진 마방장 코알라 좀인가
코레도멘가
코알라 좋아했어 거라 인장 다 시자 인장 자와만 있을 거 자고로
자와만
코 자와네 방 코이 자와 방고래스 코 방노 코이 자와 방고래 말했어 다도지 다 딘데 가소래 대요아래 다제
So there's a discussion here that in J. Tsongkhapa's work, Essence of Good Explanations, where he says that that arhats, those who have achieved nirvana, following the Shravaka or the Pratyeka Buddha path, they're liberated from existence. They've achieved the peace, which is the liberation from samsaric existence, but they haven't So they've gotten rid of the root of cyclic existence of samsara, and therefore they've been able to achieve nirvana, the cessation of suffering. They're free from samsara. However, they haven't eradicated the final root, or the ultimate root of existence. Now, to interpret that, we have to understand how it is that the wrong view, which apprehends things as being real, which grasps at self, operates in its two subdivisions. That is, there's the misapprehension of a self of persons and a misapprehension of a self of phenomena. When the way in which those two arise, the way in which they develop or operate, is that one first takes objects such as the aggregates or components that make up the person, and then by clinging to them as being real, objectively established, intrinsically existent, and so forth, then one creates the notion that that the self or the person, which is identified based upon those aggregates, is real. However, I'm getting a little bit tangled up here. Sorry about that. So the easier way to explain this, or the way to explain this, is that these arhats, they've achieved nirvana, freedom from samsara, but they haven't eliminated the final ultimate base of samsara. And here one can explain this such that what that means is that they haven't gotten rid of the obscurations that prevent the achievement of, that prevent omniscience, knowledge of all objects. That is, they haven't, they've eliminated grasping at things as being real but have not gotten rid of the imprints that have been left by misapprehension of things as being real.
当然，可以找我的现在你我的这个前话这些呢，俺你谈到的可找我的帮我当，可以找我帮我你我的卡卡结果去了，啊，可是，
哦，
可以现在当，可以找我你我的这个前话这些呢，你让他准备个可以找我马英马帮，可找我那帮，
可以找我。
你让他准备个。
Ja.
可以现在当可以找我这个前话的钱呢，你让他准备个可以找我马帮，可找我那帮，可啥边的叫帮我，就可找我那帮，可以找我马帮，可以找我定金，现在定金的下下呢，那都是多少钱
？So another way to discuss this is to say, if you take the root of samsara and the ultimate fundamental root of samsara as referring to the same thing, then one would have to say, I think, that the arhats who are following the Shravaka and Pratyeka Buddha path would have they've gotten rid of, they've abandoned the root of samsara, but they have not. Here they have not gotten rid of it from the root. Really? Did you get that? Is that what you heard?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
可以找我你就把钱收呢，就把钱收呢。但你让在中国可以现在没办法是吧？可以找我样没办法，可以找我定金了下你是吧？是吧？啊你可找我的办法。
So here it's like if you have no 讲だ交通マソン可以した但可以找
可找我的办法呢？可啥边的叫办法的啦？
啥边的叫吧？
你们找我的办法呢？你们啥边的叫办法？是吧？你们就办法怎么样吧？你们找我的办法呢？你们啥边的叫办法？你们这个就做我的啥边的是吧？我啥边的叫办法一张，啊那你们找我的办法是吧？你们啥边的电脑现在呢？你可找我的办法是的。
So if you the discussion here is differentiating between the if you take the root of samsara but if you take the fundamental root of samsara, the final ultimate root of samsara, one would have to say that if you differentiate them in that way, then the root of samsara would be referring to the mental afflictions themselves, whereas the fundamental root of samsara, the final basis of samsara, is the seeds which give rise to those mental afflictions. And the arhats of the Shravaka and Pratyeka Buddha path have eliminated they necessarily have to have eliminated the mental afflictions, the manifest operation of the mental afflictions, but they have not, according to this system, gotten rid of the seeds, the imprints or the final ultimate basis for samsaric existence.
Oh yeah, that anjubagi chöji danjin la, shedu, chöji danjin shedu de she. Tanjubagi chöji danjin da kansa danjin niga la niandu de she ba me, chöji danjin niandu yin ba she ba de, danya tanjubi tomo ma me chai jire, 是吧？chöji danjin niandu yin ba. Yin zang de chöji danjin la nyumo na shedu de jobi chuni ye se de niandu de jongan de tanjuba dang, shedu de jongan de ranjuba. 尊女也把都是了，
So this passage of the text, and to return to it, is that the ignorance which misapprehends objects as real is, since the Venerable Chandrakirti asserts that is ignorance, which is a mental affliction. Therefore, among the two systems of determining that the mental affliction, which is the misapprehension of a self of phenomena, is either is or is not a obscuration which prevents omniscience, then according to Venerable Chandrakirti's system, this type of mental affliction is categorized as a mental obscuration, which is a mental affliction, rather than as a obscuration that prevents omniscience.
因此，当真你可上，当真你为了可下也是那各机关的下不的蛮多，东西关的下个没吧，是吧？是吧？没有关的下个没吧？当真你我的，当没你我的东西关的下，他就会下个话，他没晓吧？啊，你当没你我的各机关的，他原来就把各机关的下个多啊，我确实当真，是的，啊，你点把出来就把它确实当真。 So this
difference, this is a special distinction of the Master Chandrakirti's system, and it is an important difference between his presentation and that of Bhavaviveka and so forth, Swatantrika Madhyamikas, because, and this also comes back to the point that we made previously, yesterday, I think, in which we say that in this system, the two forms of grasping misapprehension of a self, whether you're talking about misapprehension of a self of persons or misapprehension of a self of phenomena, these two types of misapprehension or grasping are differentiated not from the point of view of their conceived object, which is a self of persons or a self of phenomena, things existing as real, whether it's persons or phenomena. Rather, it's differentiated from the point of view of the base, which is ascribed falsely by ignorance a self. And the same thing in terms of the wisdom that realizes emptiness. It's the wisdom that realizes emptiness. There's the type which realizes the non-existence of a self of persons. There's the type that recognizes the non-existence of a self of phenomena. Those two are differentiated not from the point of view of the absence, the emptiness that is realized or understood. Rather, they're differentiated according to the base. And in the Swatantrika system, it's quite different in that for the self of persons, the self which is ignorance falsely attributes to persons is self existing as a person existing as a self-sufficient substance, whereas the self of phenomena is a phenomena existing as if they were real. So the two ways of differentiating these are quite different.
Oh yeah, that is actually.